the rapid growth of Medicare premiums.
Yes.
And also allow re-importation of prescription drugs from Canada. Because in Canada, the prescriptions are free.
Free.
And we should have that here in
Free.
the United States.
Free.
All in the European countries, all in Russia, all different countries have free medical benefits, free prescription, free dental. We should have that here.
We should have it.
I totally think so. And the last one is require that Congress and the President have the same retirement and Medicare benefits.
So that they don't get their benefits and we don't get our benefits.
That's right. How does the audience feel about that?
Yes, we agree. Good.
Very good. Very good. I strongly agree too.
Well, we want to talk about a very sensitive matter this morning. We want to talk a little bit about schizophrenia and how it's been affecting women. I took the time to look up some statistics this morning, and
Well, first things first, let me do this.
yes,
Angela Maxwell, she has been researching this epidemic, this plague, this mental illness that has been affecting our population, our local organizations, our churches, our schools, everywhere it's been affecting, and no one talks about this. So Angela Maxwell has done a lot of research and is still doing research, and I'm just glad that you're doing that because that's going to help us.
that's going to help us.
Yeah.
I looked at the statistics, as I said, and from 15 to 19, 150,000 young ladies are sick in the United States. From 20 to 21, 600,000 young ladies. I'm dealing with female population right now. And from 25 to 29, 800,000 young women are affected. In America, 2.2 million people that suffer from schizophrenia.
Wow.
And 25% completely recover. But I am a Christian, and I do believe that if you come into a deliverance ministry, there is a great possibility that you will live a successful life. 10% are hospitalized. 15%, the sad part about it, they commit suicide because nobody believes.
You know, in dealing with ministry, you know, we are taught that that is a spirit that is made to oppress people.
Yes, oppression. Oppress and depress people.
Yeah.
And this spirit has been since the Word of God in the book of Matthew. There was a man that was at the rocks that they had to lock down. They call him a lunatic, and they bind him up because he would always cut himself. That's the spirit of schizophrenia. So they had to lock him away in an institutionalized place that he wouldn't harm anyone.
It's funny that you mentioned that because there's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing.
And right now, they're cutting themselves to this very day.
They're cutting themselves. Yeah. So 15% commit suicide. 63 billion people a year are treated for schizophrenia.
Oh my gosh. Well, I got some questions for you that I'm sure the media wants to know a little bit. What is to you schizophrenia?
Well, schizophrenia is a mental disorder. It could come through the generation. It has a lot to do with hallucinations and also not perception, psychosis, but I also think it's spiritual because of the deep oppression.
Yeah.
So, and it's very scary because what you see, everybody else doesn't see.
Right.
What's in your mind, everybody else doesn't see. So you need someone that can help walk you through it and not make you think that, oh, you're just psychotic. Because it's reality to you. So it's reality. And there are many types of schizophrenia.
Really?
Many types. There is paranoid schizophrenia, disorganized schizophrenia, catatonic schizophrenia, undifferential schizophrenia, and residual schizophrenia. And they're all different because they're characterized different.
Wow.
Because one has your delusional, the other, the disorganized, has to do with your speech. The catatonic has to do with your character, this disturbance of movement, if things are moving a lot. And so then the residual is characterized by your past. if you've been molested, if you've been raped, if you've been abused, if you've been rejected as a child, you suppress all of that stuff. And then when it comes up, everything is like a cannon going off in your head.
Wow.
So it's very dear to me. This particular show is dedicated to a very special young lady that's fighting, and she's fighting a good fight, and I do believe that she is going to be a survivor.
Yeah.
And as we continue on the morning show, as she goes through her survival, we will bring her on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to bring her on the show.
Absolutely. I have another question for you. What is this about when I was in psychology, when I was in college, and I was studying a little bit about mental illnesses, including schizophrenia, a lot of the patients would report a hearing of voices.
Yes.
What was that?
Well, that is very true, because everything is in the mind.
Right.
And the brain, because the disorder is in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do actually perceive it as reality, things talking to them. And what happens is when these voices start talking, these voices are giving them commands.
Wow.
And most of the commands are to do something that's very disturbing. Very disturbing, either to harm themselves or to harm someone near to them. And some schizophrenics, they like to entertain. And what they're really crying out for is attention.
Right.
I need attention.
Right.
I just need you to hear me. So the voices are real, but you have to walk them through it, step by step, and ask them, what did this voice say?
Right.
Because for every action, there's a
reaction. Yes, absolutely.
So if they're saying that this voice is telling me to go jump off a building, now walk them through this. Let's tell them, okay, why would you want to jump off a building?
So do you find, since you've been researching schizophrenia and doing studies on it, do you find it more predominant in male or female?
Male.
Really?
More predominant in male.
Now, is it in a stronger class?
Yes,
Wow.
very aggressive in men.
Really?
Because not only is it schizophrenia, it's the manic depression
that
comes with it.
Yeah.
And most manic depressors, they're very violent.
Wow.
They're very abusive. I don't really know if you remember Mike Tyson and Robin Gibbs.
Yes.
And Mike Tyson was diagnosed in the marriage that he was a manic depressor. And so he was very aggressive towards her, but he was very apologetic afterwards.
Right.
Because he couldn't control it without the medication.
And he too had a history of abusiveness.
Yes.
He was a foster child for several years,
Yes.
going in and out of different homes.
Yes.
So now I guess I'm starting to see the patterns here of, a person legally diagnosed with schizophrenia and their background.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And also, it is a biological disease.
Wow.
It could come through the generation. It could come from your parent, the mother that was carrying you in the womb.
Yeah.
So it could come that way also. And it's not detectable right away as a child begins to grow. If you see a child that's always off to themselves, you need to find out if there's something wrong.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
They deal with hallucinations, false perception, inaccuracy. They think everybody has a problem with them. Everyone is negative to them, derogatory. And you could be the nicest person, but they'll perceive that you're being very derogatory.
Wow.
Because of the hallucination.
Oh, wow.
So it's very sad. We want you to make sure that you tune in with us for these next 4 or 5 morning shows, because it's going to get very interesting.
Yes, it is.
Schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of drugs that you can't take, but the drugs only suppress it.
I think the drugs actually makes it worse, because the minute the person is off the drug, there's a reaction.
Yes, there's a reaction.
It's going to come back, and not only is it going to come back, but it's going to come back 10 times stronger.
And that's what's been happening.
Yeah.
And the hospitalization. I mean, when you do go into the hospital, you're in a hospital with other people that's just like you. So there's different ways of treatment. So we're going to really delve into this. And we're really going to talk about the schizophrenia and how it's affecting our young people. I truly believe it's a supernatural thing that's
Absolutely.
very supernatural.
I
Even in
believe
my
that too.
studies.
I believe that too.
Very supernatural.
Yes. Well, stay tuned after the quick break, and we'll be back with our morning show.